There's no longer white-collar jobs. They are nowhere to be found. The population is increasing on a daily basis, and the government cannot provide all the needed jobs for the bulging youths.
It's the doctor that the patient has to get a prescription for. The reason is that when the patient comes, the patient gets a card and is directed to see the physician.
Not that I mean to undermine polytechnics, they do a good job, but university education is actually more valuable.
Hello viewers, I am delighted to welcome you to this week's edition of Crossfire, reaching you from the Advent Cable Network Nigeria Television, ACNNTV. I am Olusegun Emmanuel Akinola. Remember, Crossfire is a program that treats controversial topics on diverse issues surrounding the church and society. Due to feedback from our esteemed viewers, the topic of youths and leadership has become crucial. We shall be considering the willingness of youths to take up leadership in Nigeria. In our political climate, we see more elderly people in positions of leadership. Just last year, we had several young people showing interest in leadership positions all over the country, up to the level of presidency. However, due to several besetting limitations, the younger candidates lost out. With the rate of unemployment, poverty, and lack of proper standard of education, can we truly say that the youths are ready and willing to lead? To debate on this crucial topic, I have with me in the studio the Venerable Joseph Unwayam, who is the Director of Civic and Political Affairs, Church of Nigeria, and Chaplain to the National Assembly. He will be speaking against the readiness of youths, while Isha Yakubu, who is a political analyst, will be speaking for the youths. You're both welcome, sirs.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us today. Now, let's go right into the topic we have. Youth and leadership. Are the youths really willing to lead? Let me start with you, dear director. Since you are right there in the front, you know some of the political affairs that go on in Nigeria. Do you think that youths are really not willing to lead in Nigeria? We have so many people who have shown interest over the years, even from our elections last year. So why do you think that, the youths don't have what it takes to lead Nigeria?
Well, I don't think that it's about willingness in the first instance. It's about readiness.
Okay.
Yes, there are youths who are willing to go into the position of leadership, but the question is, are they ready? From what we are seeing, are they ready?
Okay.
It's not just enough for you to say, give me power. But are you ready to handle that office in such a way that you can really make a difference?
Okay.
What have you to show to prove your readiness? You see, it's not, you don't need to get to the political arena or get to the seat or become a president before you demonstrate your ability to lead. This is the area of my concern. I am not against a youth going into the position of leadership. Not at all. But my concern is, are you ready? If you want to edge an elder out of his seat, then you should demonstrate enough political will, you should demonstrate enough sagacity, you should demonstrate enough readiness. Then we should see why the reason, justifiable ground, why you should be given that particular office. Not just to say, like what we are seeing today, give the youth a chance, give the youth a chance. No, you demonstrate to the world that you have the ability to lead.
But with the influx of youths coming into politics now, don't you think that is already enough impetus to say that the youth are actually ready? They have gone out there, they've come into different organizations, different political parties, showing that yes, they are really...
No, it's not about coming in there. See, my office is campaigning that you should come into politics. But it is not just about coming in there. It's what are you coming in there to do? Do you know what you are coming in there to do? Do you know the real problem? Do you have solution to the problem? That is the point. Not just coming in. I'm willing to come in. We have to find out what do you have in mind. Why do you want to come in? What do you want to do? How do you want to go about it? What is your agenda?
Okay.
Not just come in.
Okay. Sir Yakubu, maybe you want to respond to that. He said the youths, they have been showing willingness, but they are not actually ready. They don't know what it takes to assume such office. What do you have to say to that?
Thank you very much.
Yes,
I maybe differ with him because I should say very clearly that the youths are eminently ready. On the basis that if you want the youth to take over from you, what are the kind of the kind of level play field you give them? Now the seat belongs to the elderly person. That's what they say, and you're not ready to shift a bit or to bring the younger one to mentor him. You find out that somebody is a senator today, those that work under him are just within his age limit. Yes. Then the younger one said they should go and do some boy work. And then there's no way they will be able to get it. But if in any case, say, look, let me put in the affairs of managing this situation. I am sure when you are fully mentored, there's nothing, nobody was born as a leader.
Yes.
It's just that when you are there, you have your psyche. What else do I want to achieve? It's a matter of this. I have seen some of the younger ones that have accepted most of this. During the Obasanjo regime, most of the governors that came here were within their 40s. Okay. But now if you look at it now very clearly that after that, 70s and this and they came out to take over as governors. At the moment an elderly person take over as a governor, it becomes a problem to the state on the basis that the children become de facto governors of that district. His wife and some of the civilians and the friends. But by the time you give it somebody who is much younger, at my own level, I should be able to concentrate. Look, let me just, I know there will be, the youth exuberance is there, but in any case, how I should be able to give some about 80% of my own strength to go on the field. Okay.
Now, for you, sir, let me now ask you a direct question to you.
Yes, sir.
Concerning the youth being willing and ready to take over leadership in Nigeria, don't you think there are too many limitations? I mean, Nigeria is so vast, so many issues, so many problems. Can the youth actually handle the limitations and the obstacles to, taking such office in Nigeria?
Well, I don't really know what you mean by limitations.
Okay.
Well, in any case, if you are talking about, you have seen it even in the church. When I was growing up as a younger boy, as a young person, I know before you become a canon, you must be an elderly person.
Okay.
But today, I think it's different the case. You see somebody of 30 years or below like that is a canon. Before you see somebody who is almost at almost over 60s becoming a canon. Venerable should be allowed that, and then at the age of retirement you become venerable. Most likely they make it as a bishop. But today, things have gone in under this. In any case, in the political this environment, you've seen that if you give it, just like I said, if you say we're not ready on the basis that why you've not given us the chance. If you say we're not ready. Two, you've not mentored us to say, look, this is the way you go. I've worked in the political office, and I know how, the leaders used to advise us. Look, go this way, go this way, go this way. If you go this way, you succeed. If you go this way, most of these people started at a very young age.
Okay. You want to respond to that? I the elders are not mentoring the young ones.
No, let's leave mentoring first.
Okay.
The truth is that most leaders are born. Most people are born leaders, and the other angle to it is you prepare yourself for leadership. See, power is not given. You go for it. You work for it. Now, let me quickly take on the analogy of the church, because look at you now, very young, venerable, and I still consider myself a bit young man, though I'm having gray hair now, but I became a venerable at a young age also. Yeah, that is the truth, at least. But the truth is that I was also having this feeling my brother is having now, that it is age that affects the performance, even in the ministry. I thought many people were not performing because they were too old. But it was when I came in, I discovered that the functionality of a priest and the performance of a priest has nothing really to do with the age. It has to do with your mental preparedness, your zeal for the work, then your zeal, your passion for justice, for truth, for the ministerial work. That is the point. Let me tell you, I've seen very elderly, gray-headed, venerables, bishop, when they pick up the microphone,
of course, they still
to handle a service. A priest is ministry.
Well, is it the same with politicians?
I've also seen a very young priest in his early 20s, so dull, you don't see any direction even in the leadership when it's... So it's not about age, my brother. Experience have taught me a lesson. It's not about age. It's whether do you have what it takes
But now,
to lead?
Is that not the same with what we see in the church? Is that the same thing we see in our government and politics, that the younger ones don't seem to perform and the older ones seem to be the one actually doing more
No,
work?
go to even their political meetings. Are the youth ready to do what it takes for them to be recognized as a person that can lead?
Okay.
How many youths today goes to a political meeting and they are sharing money and say, hold your money, I'm not here because of this. How many youths goes to a political meeting today and they say, okay, quiet, you know, this is not about, we talk to you people when we are through. I say, no.
You know your
Let
rights.
me tell you, because I'm here to represent my own people also.
Okay.
This is what I want to bring to the table. Or see, this is where you know, in my area they say it is when you are washing hand, you know the person who is going to roast pounded yam. We are at the point of washing hand. You see, when you go to a political environment and you see the attitude of the youth, their own is about what will you give to me, and what am I going to get from this very person? Has the person shared money? So no one is talking about the real thing.
Issues,
That is why I'm saying, are they ready? And if somebody go with that kind of orientation, with that kind of mentality of sharing money, then what is going to be the difference?
Okay.
Why does he want to unseat the person that is there? I'm not happy that elderly people that we grew up to meet in politics, they are still there till today. But what I am seeing in the young people, it is not pleasing at all.
I'm sure Mr. Ishaya wants to, but let me ask a question as you respond to that. Now, in Nigeria, or even in Nigeria being seen as the giant of Africa, do you think our political climate is actually suitable and accommodating for youth to take up office? Do they have all the necessary examples and power and all other things like that to actually assume such office? As you also respond.
Well, I think just before I go there, I sometimes I beg difference on this thing.
Okay.
The problem with poverty and hunger, he doesn't know whether he does not recognize whether you have a conscience or you don't have conscience.
Okay.
You find out that within the youth, you know that what you would demystify the youth, bring the money. And among about 80% of the youth, you find out that 60% will go for the money. Yes. And those of you that are 20%, you go without the money. And at the end, you remain like that. You understand? Unless when we are able to do with the psyche within ourselves that, look, money is rubbish. If once you get that, the other one know that this is where we can get them. And that's why deliberately we refuse to give them employment. If it comes down to employment, let me go and look for my own people, family people, and put them there so that they dominate the place. Each time I'm speaking, they will speak on my behalf. If I'm looking for money, then at the end, when you have no choice, what else is it? These people, I just leave them with let God deal. Yes. And I believe that I think we should outgrow that kind of cycle. And within ourselves, stand as youths and say that, look, what are you going to offer? I believe clearly within myself, if I say that I'm going for a vital office, I have a reason that I should go for it. Yes. Within myself, I sleep and I dream. Look, I weep for this. Sometimes I look at some things, they are not right. How can we correct this thing? I've been to Rwanda some years back, last year. When he became assumed office as a president, it was at a very young age. If you see the massive infrastructure he's doing there, the development and this thing, it's a matter of that was individual. Look, within myself, I have a passion. This is what I want to achieve. I want to make sure that on the issue of education, issue of health, issue of road, especially power. First of all, let me start with power and generate that. If you're able to get that, you get most of the youths maybe employed within the offices. Maybe at the end of the long time, they will change. But I see things are gradually coming down. Since they have approved the not too young to rule. Yes. It was from you can't buy for the seat of the Senate. Of course. Unless you are 45 years. Yes. So even though you have the means and people love you go for Senate, you can't go because you are constrained because of age. Of course. But today they say it's 30 years. 30. Okay, I can go for president as well. That's true. And I said, look, I have the distance. Then I go and become president at 30 years. Which of course, yeah, well, we read it. At least maybe I was quite sure. I wasn't born yet. I wasn't born, but I read it, and he left again at 42.
Many of them studied very.
That's where he went to school from undergraduate.
But that's even the point that in Nigeria things were a bit better back then that helped the situation. Sure. So, but now we have too many delimited situations.
That benefited from that distance, keep the system for us.
Okay.
Because some of them benefited from free education. Today it's not there.
It's not there. Yeah.
Some of them benefited from free medical listing. It's not there. They don't deliberately. They don't want to do it.
See, my brother,
Yes, sir.
in my place, they say when a small child washes his hand well, he will join the elders to eat.
Yes.
In my state today, you have a deputy governor who is a very young man. He did not start from being a deputy governor. That man was already providing a kind of leadership that we are talking about, even in the university and student union government.
Okay.
So that is what we are saying. We are not here to say, make a sweeping generalization that all youths are not prepared. That is that's not what I'm saying. But majority. If we are to assign a percentage, I can tell you over 80% are not ready.
That's a big percentage.
Because it has been the monetary issue of politics is there on it. You cannot overrule that.
No, what do you mean by that?
If you are going to
contest
now for something
exactly.
No,
you need a godfather. You need someone who.
No, it's not about. It's not about money. It's not money first. It's not money first. What do you want to put on the table? What do you want to do there? It is that we convince people. You have to insist on this is what I want. This is what we want to change. Now, is there any restriction, anything, law or regulation in a political party that restrain a member of a party? As if you are a youth, you are a member from participating in their discussion.
We need to go on a short break. You just hold on to that point, and then we'll return back very shortly.
How fathers love their children to be like them. It's amazing, isn't it? Unfortunately for us pastors, our children don't want to be like us. I don't know what they see. Perhaps they're seeing something different. And let's be honest. If you're not a sincere man of God, it's difficult for your child. Because you see, the problem with children is that they see beyond you. Their incapacity is that they are unable to tell you what they see because they are afraid of daddy and they don't want to hurt daddy. But they see and they react against it and move elsewhere. But when they notice a consistency in a pastor, in a man of God, they're likely going to follow. You don't even have to force them. You don't have to say so many things. They will be asking the questions, Daddy, what do you do? How do you do?
Thank you, dear viewers, for joining us again. This is still Crossfire, and we have been looking at youths and politics. Are the youths willing and ready to lead Nigeria? And we still have with me in the studio the Venerable Joseph Unwaya and Ishai Yakubu, who have been discussing on this topic. My Venerable sir, let me come to you. We've been talking about young people having the willingness, well, they have the willingness but don't have the ability, they don't have the readiness to take over office. Now, if you compare Nigeria with many other countries, especially in the Western world, in maybe Canada, France, and other places, you see more powerful nations, wealthier nations than Nigeria, with young people controlling these countries. Why is Nigeria now different? Is Nigeria so vast, so big that we think the youths cannot take over office?
Now, I sympathize with our youths.
Yes, sir.
Honestly, I sympathize with our youth. If you really want to know what is happening to the youth, you go to the university or go to the secondary school and see the kind of education that we are having and the kind of orientation that we are having. That is where the problem lies.
Okay.
Yeah, that is why I say I sympathize with them, because it is not they are making. But even in the midst of this kind of situation, you have to distinguish yourself. In the university campus, you have the choice to join people to be, carry what they call chukuli up, this or that, and be running up and down, trying to bribe lecturer to have your way. You also have a choice to say, I've come here to learn so that I will form a kind of character and acquire enough knowledge that will enable me survive outside. Because where you are going outside is a very rough terrain. Yes. That is where I pity the majority. When you go to the university, look at the students in the campus. You see that majority are not there to really learn. They are not there to learn. Okay. And you cannot give what you don't have. That's true. When you garbage in, you garbage out. When you enter an examination hall, that is where you know whether our youth are ready to do anything. Okay. When you invite no youth, thank God, by my own work, at least I'm in an administrative cadre where I interview people, where we have had privilege to employ people to work as young people. But my brother, if you go there, that is where you know whether the youths are ready.
Okay, but in a way, that means it's the system that does not give the youths it doesn't give the environment for the youths to have that viable system to actually work for something better. Now somebody has to go the extra mile, do something so much strenuous to be able to assume such office. The environment doesn't seem to be conducive. Education is there.
Life is a challenge in itself.
Okay.
Yes, you just have to meander your way through life with doggedness to become who you want to be.
Okay.
You see, life will not just throw opportunity on your feet.
Yes, you see the issue with Nigerian system today. It's quite different from what you're saying, sir. Because I have been in the field and I'll tell you how it works. Today, I applied for seat of House of Rep. The moment I started, they said, this young boy, do you have the money? Can you withstand this?
That's the first
and all of them team up, gang up, and they have enough resources.
Now,
and on that very day, then when we know that people are, when they know, and I say when poverty has no friend, on the election day, those that you have been with, I come to your house to eat on that base. They switch off the handset. They didn't even come. Some didn't come. They send their friends to go and vote for them. Why would you see me again vote? Because they have voted their conscience and they've sold this thing now on the basis that I don't
this
have the money
underscores the point I'm trying to make.
Now,
now, why can't the youth who have no money
to come together?
Whether you share money or you don't share money, at the end of the day, it is in democracy. It is a game of number. Why can't the youth with together, equal mind who have no money, no mobilize? Now, one of the things. Wait, one of the no, hold on, my brother. One of the things that really touched me so much was in the last election. The space was open. So many people came up. So many political parties came up, majorly with youths. But at the end of the day, when the election was announced, and people were still talking that, oh, this thing is not the correct thing. Within 1 week, all of them, so-called leaders of all these young political parties with youth, all of them gathered together, and they faced the presidential candidate of the opposition party who was ready to go to court to press for what is right. They were condemning him as if he's the one doing it. What does that tell you?
No, when
all those so-called youth leaders, their mind is to go there and get money.
When the president signed that not too young to be, what did he say? He pleaded with them that they should give him that chance. Let me contest on this one. Why did he say, okay, leave it, go ahead. It's open now for the youth to go ahead.
No, did they obey? They still went ahead. They contested. But my own is that if you are ready to lead, why do you chicken out so cheaply?
Because you see, the way you are seeing it is quite different from the way those others. We know what is going on. Sometimes you may win, they won't give you. What will you do? The you will go and make trouble. They will go and say, look, we have a court order. That anybody that disobeys court order is contempt of court.
Let me ask a question in relation to this corruption, because Nigeria is known, we have been saying it over the years.
Do you know if those leaders of the different political parties, if they have rallied around to press, the court, what the proceeding in the court will not go the way.
Before we digress,
you will not go against the law.
Sorry, before we digress, still on this issue of corruption, you see Nigeria is corrupt and all that. Now, it seems like our fathers, or maybe the system, have failed us. The elderly ones seem to have failed us. What can the youth actually do to change some of these corruptions that seems to be happening?
That is it.
Corruption is a systemic problem in Nigeria.
Yes, sir. So what can the youth now do?
The only thing is that's why I say it. We need a complete overhaul and reorientation of our hearts. Now, if I want to go to politics today, within my heart, I have the intention that I want to buy the latest cars. That's what I want to be cruising that.
Of course.
It costs a lot of money. How do I get that money? My salary cannot buy that one. You understand? But in any case, if I said I have the people at heart, I want to make sure that, okay, like my House of Rep member is a younger person within our age limit.
Yes, sir.
What he did now, he brought fertilizer. Even those of us that were in the politics, listen, he followed them house to house and gave them. Unlike those days, if you have ever said like this to him, nobody would hear, they won't hear, even though they go and collect at night. So now you answer the issue is that the corruption, all of us, we need, just like the vice president said the other time, that it's a systemic problem. And we need to do is that we need to see how within ourselves. Is a law is passed on that?
Are we waiting for the people who have engendered the corruption to be the one to renew the system?
You don't allow the youth to go and be on the seat. How would they renew it? The elderly ones have set on it.
Now, to you, sir, just a final question before we round up now. Now, the elderly ones claim that, the young ones, maybe they are inexperienced, they don't have what it takes, just like you're saying now. But many of these are leaders.
That is not what I'm saying, though.
Is that the young ones are not
experience.
It's not about experience.
It's about the
readiness.
The readiness.
Preparedness.
Now, seeing that so many elderly people have been there, many of them started at a young age. Sure. Many young people have been coming out to show interest in this.
It's unfortunate.
Why can't they give them the chance?
It's unfortunate that some of these people that are elderly today actually
they are the ones still coming back into office.
It's unfortunate that some of them have not done very well the way it is expected, or they got corrupted, or they lost the vision along the line. People will blame that most of the time on the caution of the military regime. But when you look like people like Awolowo, like Azikiwe, like people like that, Sadana or Sokoto, go and check their background, check their CV. They were already ready. They were ready to confront the white man, to take over power and to lead this very country. That is the kind of thing I expect to see in the youth today. Okay. Not that somebody is going there, happening where you sitting down to interrogate and you discover that the focus is to let these old people live. It is our time to start eating.
Is that the idea of the youth? It's not that just to eat?
I'm saying majority. I'm saying it confidently.
I have seen a youth that paid jam for the whole of my constituency last year. He didn't even contest. He just came and said, "Look, how much jam?"
Now he said that is just 1%.
So how many percent? The elderly ones. Okay,
that's why I say there are still about 20%, but majority.
So I guess we need more youth to come out. We have a voice.
The youth are ready. But if you give me a free distance, look, gentlemen, we have to push, and I get it. I want to push, but I'm concerned because I don't have money to buy. I can't even buy phone. When they say 5 million and buy phone, why would the youth get money to buy that money, sir?
So the system does not actually help.
It just allowed us. But if we say, look, because the women in the politics, they decided to give them that waiver that they don't pay money for the distance. They only pay for the interest distance, which is nothing. Why don't the youth?
Okay.
Because
I think on that note, we need to round up, sir.
On the money to collect form, how many rally protests have you seen by youths of a political party to say you must bring down the cost of picking the
some did in some of the parties, smaller parties, they review it.
Even when they want to go, some people will just go behind, collect money and betray the other because they are after money. They are after big cars. People want to build houses in Abuja without laboring.
Okay,
that is the majority we are having among our youth
in the whole system.
We need to round up now.
Both men, the elders and the younger ones.
We understand the situation as much as we see some youths with passion and many who are actually striving for this thing. There are still many delimiting situations around that does not allow the youth to actually come forward. But we hope and pray that the situation will change. Well, we thank you very much, sirs. Ladies and gentlemen, there we have it. Are the youths really willing, and do they have the ability to lead the giants of Africa? Nigeria is a blessed country, but bewildered with so many issues, too many to list. Where there is great potential, there's equal great ability. Have the youth been empowered and given a chance to take office? If the older ones think that the youth are not ready and willing to lead, then maybe the youth should be given a chance to lead the country for just one term, or at least 100 days, to test their potential for greatness. Africa is gradually having more young leaders, like George Weah of Liberia, the president of Togo, Gambia, Burundi, etc. We do hope Nigeria will soon join the bandwagon by having a young leader very soon. Till next time, stay safe and stay blessed. Thank you.